Is freedom a privilege or is it a fundamental right of every living human? Let's think about that for a bit. Now, most of us would probably assume that freedom is a right, but in real life, that is not always the case. In fact, freedom is often limited, unequally distributed, and biased depending on the circumstances. Firstly, not all people have equal opportunities. Someone with a good education, enough money, and legal rights can experience freedom more easily than those living in a poverty or under someone's control. In this sense, some people are lucky to have freedom to live the way they want, thus making freedom a privilege. Freedom doesn't come free to everybody, and not everyone has it. Now, let's ask ourselves, isn't this completely wrong? Shouldn't we all be free, regardless of who we are and where we come from? Freedom is a fundamental right. If freedom is a fundamental right of all people, then it is not a privilege, but something that everyone can enjoy at all times. The way I see it, seeing freedom as a privilege is completely wrong. Because wanting freedom is not only a natural human instinct, but also the most basic needs. I used to feel that seeing freedom as a privilege didn't fully reflect its meaning. I don't think freedom means a special advantage some of us have. Rather, I believe freedom is the minimum right to exist as myself, to be me. The reason I began writing about freedom is that I recently read John Stuart Mill's philosophy book called On Liberty, and I found a quote in it which really spoke strongly to me. If all mankind minus one were of the one opinion and only one person were of the contrary opinion, mankind would be no more justified in silencing that one person than he. If he had the power, would be justified in silencing mankind. What this actually means is that we shouldn't dismiss different opinions just because most people disagree with them. It told me something that I want to share with all of you now. Don't stay silent, just speak up and share your voice, because no one has the right to silence you. While reading this book, I realized how truly wonderful it is to accept people just as they are. It really resonated with me personally because I simply wanted the freedom to be honest and be open with myself. Before reading this book, I always thought that staying silent was the easiest. And being quiet and agreeing with others' opinion was the mode I grew up in. I felt safe with it. I was so used to it. But then this book came along and changed everything. After reading On Liberty, I deeply reflected on myself and I realized how truly wonderful it is. And I realized that the freedom that we all seek is the minimum freedom necessary to exist and make choices as human beings. In our society, there's a clear difference of opinions about feeling free to speak out. I believe that the freedom that we all seek is the minimum freedom that we sometimes this freedom causes harm to others, not because we want to harm them, but because the truth can hurt. All humans crave freedom for all areas. Wanting freedom is not a privilege. It is a sign of desire to make choices as human beings. So let's ask ourselves, why is that we crave freedom as much as we suppress it? Thank you.